think?
Well, I got to tell you, I talked to Ilya Cassis, who's also playing Otters. He said that their worst matchup is Sultai Reanimator. He said that it's pretty close to unwinnable. Their only hope as Otters is for the Reanimator deck to fall to its own inconsistencies. And I would say based on Tony's list, he's probably in about the same position.
All right, well, let's find out what happens. It's time for our first round of Standard. I'm going to pass it on over to Ailey and Corey.
Thank you so much, Maria. Yes, indeed, it is constructed time. It is standard. The format has been shaken up. Avatar: The Last Airbender has injected the format with so many new archetypes. Most of them still Izzet-based, Corey, but a variety thereof. So this is going to be a pretty sweet matchup to see how Otters does, in fact, fare against Sultai Reanimator.
Exactly, yeah. A deck that we've been seeing a lot of, Sultai Reanimator, and then kind of the new hotness that got brought back to life here with the newest set. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting match, but I would kind of agree with what Monty was saying. This seems like a very difficult matchup for the Otters.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have a look at all the deck lists beforehand, and we try them out and give them a go. And I asked a couple of the teams about Otters, you know, the teams that were playing them. They're like, oh, yeah, no, we dismissed the Lessons deck because we thought it just wasn't powerful enough.
Yeah.
And then the guys who are playing the Lessons deck did the exact same thing for the Otters. So I'm personally Team Lessons. I think that deck is cracked. But we'll see. Maybe these little Otter friends can pull a fast one here.
I'm totally with you. I'm Team Lessons as well, but this deck is really cool. This is kind of has been my pet deck for a very long time since it was created almost exactly a year ago by Team Sanctum of All. So it's still very powerful. It's got some new toys. Stock Up wasn't around the last time it was played. And then, of course, the very powerful Badger Mole Cub really supercharges this deck. So I'm going to say unwinnable is a bit of a stretch, but it does seem like a bit of a difficult matchup for the Otters, for sure.
Let's see how it goes here. Let's see if Kenta Harane's deck plays nice. Brood Spinner hits the board here. Surveils 2 when it enters. Another way to get some of the big guns into the yard there, looking for things like Arden, Bring of the Lost Gift. If you find a Superior Spider-Man and that goes in the bin, you're not too sad about that because there are ways to recur those creatures, Overlord of the Belmerk being one of them, and also Awaken the Honored Dead.
Yep, absolutely. And Awaken the Honored Dead, I definitely want to give that card a call out because it really kind of feels like Fable the Mirror Breaker in this deck. Whenever all 3 modes are really strong, like Fable was in a lot of different decks, then you know this saga is incredible. And in this deck, it utilizes all 3 modes perfectly. And just being able to destroy a non-land permanent, excellent in this metagame where there's a lot of different stuff that's going to be floating around, you know, from the Lessons decks with the Monuments or all kinds of stuff like that.
Tony decides he does not like that little spooter, so he sends it on its way into exile there, allowing this little otter to get in for 2 points of damage. Torch the Tower still remains a incredibly powerful card in Standard.
And now Tony has a nice setup turn. You know, you have 2 stock ups, and then you have the Rishkar's Bargain stock up at home, basically. So, I mean, Tony's going to be finding a lot of gas, but it's just a little slow. And with Kenta being able to play this nice setup card with Awaken the Honored Dead, it's a setup card that finds you what you need, but it also kills something. So being able to clean up the Otter here is really huge, where Tony is just going to be, well, sculpting his hand, doing some nice stuff for the next couple turns, but not affecting the battlefield.
And you think, oh, well, you know, why use a 3-mana removal spell on Little Otter? Well, the first part is not the coolest part about Awaken the Honored Dead. That's just, you know, a little bit of an extra
That's one
cherry
of
on
them,
top. Stock Up now going to dig through a couple of cards here for Toni Portolan. So let's see what he brings to his hand to try and enact his game plan.
Yeah, and Kenta has the ability to mill some cards here and already has Superior Spider-Man in hand, so is ideally looking to put Bringer of the Last Gift into the yard. The one of Terror of the Peaks, not so bad. And then Awaken of the Honored Dead also can return a land to help out a little bit, but still has some work to do to be able to kind of enact the combo of the Sultai Reanimator deck.
Terror of the Peaks, my favorite way to end the game.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so good.
And I mean, it is something that is very important in this list. It gets sided out a decent amount when you don't need to win on the turn. You play up against Simic or Boroid, for instance. You know, just doing the Bringer of the Last Gift thing, bringing back a bunch of creatures, that's going to be enough. But you play up against a deck that has a bunch of sweepers, or maybe the Mirror, where they're going to make you sack your creatures. You want to be able to have the ability to win the game on the spot.
Oblivious Bookworm now. An excellent 2-drop in this deck. Being able to draw your cards and discard them. You're not too fussed about discarding. There's no face-down permanence synergy at all. He
Yeah,
is
no
literally
manifest
just there. Yeah,
shenanigans.
he's just there to loot for you. So join, discard, and off you go to the races.
And 3 toughness is a real
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Yeah,
not
it's
getting
relevant.
torched the tower without the bargain, that's a big deal. And it just does some good blocking. So kind of does it all here. And Kenta's deck also is really good at putting, 8 worth of mana value in your yard so you can analyze the pollen to kind of search for anything. So one of the better analyze the pollen decks
Yeah,
out in standard right now for sure.
Pretty darn easy to exile 8 mana values worth of stuff when half your deck, it feels like, is 5+.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Sultai Reanimator deck, this was a deck that we saw even, in the previous standard here before Avatar with Vivi still hanging around. It was a deck that was still making its mark. Maybe wasn't exactly powerful enough as the Cauldron deck was so incredibly diverse and powerful.
Yeah.
But it's a deck that now that those type of things are out of the metagame, it's going to really shine. And, we've talked to a lot of players at the players meeting and stuff, and the Lessons players, the Otters players, they're like, all I got to do is dodge these 6
guys.
players. And, that's a very good spot to be if you are one of those 6 players. It seems like this Sultai Reanimator deck, it might not be the new flashy deck, but it seems to be at a really good spot against the top tier of decks. So if you can get yourself with a high win percentage and you start playing against the Lessons and the Otters players, you could find yourself at a very good position in this World Championship.
And there is no lack of Izzet-based decks in this World Championship, that's for sure. So Kenta Harane and a couple members on Team Moriyama Japan bringing what could be, the tournament killer. It could take down all of these different Izzet-based strategies that we're seeing so many of. Enduring Vitality now here for Toni Portolan. Both players kind of off to a slow start, but I would say Kent is off to a better start than Toni is.
Yep, agreed. Being able to analyze the pollen, to be able to find this creature, kind of the first piece, that's a very big deal.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of combo decks here this weekend. This Sultai Reanimator deck can kill you in one turn if the graveyard is stocked full with things, and we have the Tear of the Peaks in. Toni Portolan's list as well. The Otters can also kill you in one shot with Song of Totentans. So who do you think has the easiest time setting up that one-shot kill?
I would say probably Kenta, as you just need to find that one Terror of the Peak. You have lots of ways to tutor for it, put it into your graveyard. And you just mill over a lot of cards in this Sultai Reanimator deck. The Otters deck, as awesome as it is and how much I love it, it does need a lot of things to go right. And I think when Otters is at the best positioned is when Enduring Vitality is not easily removed. So if there's just a lot of ways to just destroy it, sure. But if you have ways to exile it, which the new Lessons can do pretty handily, then I think you're in kind of a rough spot from the Otters deck. But once again, it's so very new. It started popping up on online events this last weekend. And then, the teams, of course, they're going to be a little ahead of the curve. They kind of knew about this deck for quite a while.
2 bookworms now. We might not even need Superior Spider-Man or Bringer the Last Gift shenanigans from Kenta Harane, because he's just, getting in there for 2-4 points of damage a turn now going forward, unless Toni has some removal to deal with it. Look at his hand. It's absolutely chock-a-block. Torch the Tower, we got Creatures aplenty, Analyze the Pollen, Poor Patch Formation 2, if that comes in handy. So, yeah, plenty of options, just a little stuck on mana, ironically.
Yeah, exactly. We've been seeing the combination, we've been talking about the combination of Superior Spider-Man and Bringer of the Last Gift, but one new combo that we, really do not see a lot of so far is Badger Mole Cub and Enduring Vitality. That combination really has supercharged this deck. The fact that all your creatures tap for 2. If you cast the Song of Totentans, all of those rats are going to tap for 2. You can really win the game out of nowhere if you can assemble all those pieces.
Toni going to use Analyze the Pollen to find a 5th land here to keep his game plan going. Doesn't want to get stuck on lands with so much gas in hand and nowhere to go.
Yeah, kind of the thing you do when you don't have a land in hand, but you haven't analyzed the pollen and you have a handful of gas. Just start by essentially casting a free Analyze the Pollen to make sure you hit your land drops.
Followed up with Enduring Vitality. So let's see if Kenta has a way, not right now to deal with it, but in hand there is an Awaken the Honored Dead. So thankfully, though, Enduring Vitality doesn't care too much about being destroyed, as it will come back as an enchantment.
Yeah, Bringer of the Last Gift looks like it was just picked up, just drawn from Kenta. That's exactly where you don't want it.
Yeah.
You want it to be right on top of your library now when you're about to either cast an Overlord or impending an Overlord.
It's a satisfying snap.
It is, yeah. I love our table mics.
Oh,
It just it helps us out.
Wake of the Honored Dead taking care. Oh, okay. I like that. So getting some value out of the critter that's going to end up dead anyway to get rid of one of these bookworms. So lessening the damage that'll come in as well as the filtering through of the library for Kenta Harane.
That's a huge deal when it comes to any kind of exile removal being pointed at your Enduring Vitality. That trick is really nice to keep this enchantment around because that is going to be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Even just that enchantment hanging around is very, very important.
Yeah, and tricky to deal with unless Kenta finds another Wake of the Undead, which looks like... I don't know if he still has that in hand. I think that's been played now. Yeah.
I think so as well. So here is the nice thing here. You're able to flip over the cards. You almost always just put your...
Hello!
Okay.
The last gifts have been brought. Hi, Santa.
Bringer of all the gifts, it would seem. So there is Arden as well. So Arden gets put to the yard. Now, what we're going to kind of see from Kenta here this next turn is you play Superior Spider-Man. You know, it comes into play as a copy of Bringer of the Last Gift. Now, importantly, not that important in this situation now, but it does not target. So let's say there was a Ghost Vacuum, something like that. That does not actually interact with this card, which makes it even more powerful. You need like a Soul Guide Lantern, something like that. So it's going to be a copy of Bringer of the Last Gift. All the creatures on the battlefield are going to go away, and all the creatures from the yard from Kenta are going to come into play.
Whee.
Now, that won't win the game on the or it will win the game on the spot with Terror of the Peak.
With Terror there, yeah. If Terror could get got, then great, because multiple Bringers are awesome when it comes to targeted removal for them, but they also kill each other, you know.
Yeah.
There's that.
And kind of looking at what we have in hand.
No, excuse me, it's when you cost it, so never mind. They're fine. It's the Harvest of Misery I'm thinking about that
there
kills
you
a bunch
go.
of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But looking at the hand here from Toni, there is not really anything I see that can interact. And maybe that's, you know, leading me to believe what Ely was saying about this matchup, where it's
That's
basically
rough.
unwinnable.
I mean, yeah, even Mani said it, like, this is probably the best game one deck in the field here. And looking at this, like, just look at all the options, all of the gas and power available to Kenta Harane. As soon as he untaps and gets to his first main phase, it's like, whoa, cool, Spirit Spider-Man, game's over.
No, it does feel a lot like, you know, maybe God Pharaoh's Gift in Standard, Dredge from Extended or Modern, those kind of things where it's just the removal that people are playing doesn't really target you in any meaningful way. Sure, they could kill your Bookworm, but most of the time it'll get that one activation where you get to put something into the yard. It will do all those kind of things and deal with your small just, you know, nonsense creatures. Yeah. But the gigantic payoff from the Reanimator deck is just so hard to interact with because no one's going to play Graveyard interaction in the main deck anymore.
No. If they expected it to be, you know, as powerful as Vivi was, then perhaps that would be a main deck consideration. But we see now Toni Portolan digging for answers. Suntrap Trainer hits the board, finds a Bushwhack, and it just kind of feels like he's, I don't know, he's just kind of biding his time here, awaiting this big death blow here from Kenta Harane.
Exactly, and Toni knows about it too. You know, like a lot of this is face up from Kenta. Like, I just returned the Superior Spider-Man. My deck does this one thing, and it does it very well. Yeah. So, but that's a good point you bring up about Vivi though. Like the Superior Spider-Man deck, the Sultai Reanimator deck, maybe wasn't as good back then because, well, Agatha's Soul Cauldron was main deck Graveyard Hate. Yeah. So now that is not really a playable card anymore, a deck like Sultai Reanimator can really shine.
Yeah, they kind of got. They were let loose. They were resuscitated in a sense when Agatha's Soul Cauldron, you know, left Standard.
The only thing Toni can really try to do, I mean, it's not going to work now because the Terror of the Peak will finish this game off straight away, but is to try to hope Terror of the Peak is not in the yard and you do all this graveyard shenanigans, and then Toni can just go, you know, Song of Totentons, Badger Mole Cub, and combo off in the same turn, but no creatures in the yard because it does bring them back from every yard.
Yeah. Jesus.
So here's the thing that you do with this. You get to stack it in such a way that whatever bringer that you choose, you order it where you would exile it, but first it gets brought back from the trigger. So you actually don't have to exile any of the bringers to come in, to just have it come into play. So time to count, and Tony's not going to have enough life. That's
Just
for sure.
2 of those bringers is deadness.
Yeah.
Because, 12 life Tony's on. That is
Not close, we'll say.
impressive. Impressive one-shot kill there from Kenta Harane. And Tony has to rely on a sideboard here to try and get game number 2 in his favor. What are we looking at for Tony's side of things to try and get a game win here?
3 Soul Guide Lanterns. That is
Yeah.
going to be probably the most important card here. There's Torpor Orb, which is okay. You know, it shuts off some of the deck. It doesn't shut off all of it. Yeah, that's about it. That is really about it. But still, 3 Soul Guide Lantern is gigantic here because there is not really a good plan B from Kenta's deck. I mean, I think here is the plan B. You can take a creature or an artifact, so you want to take it when you see it in the hand immediately, or you can awaken the Honored Dead to destroy a Soul Guide Lantern, which that also feels bad because most of the time they get to sack it and either remove the graveyard or draw a card, but you got to do what you got to do. But meanwhile, this was a 1 mana, let's peek at your hand, and did not actually take anything. Always feels horrendous when you play Duress and you miss, or you play Tactics and you miss.
It's still information.
Yeah.
Information is powerful.
You're a glass half full type of person.
Sure
I see.
am.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it ain't over till it's over. You're like 1,000 life behind, and you got no cards in hand. Concede.
Let's see. But no land from Tony here, though, is a big deal. I mean, just Storm Chaser's talent. Taking the damage off the starting town is not the biggest deal, but you absolutely need to be hitting your land drops. So I'm not sure if Tony mulliganed a lot here, but either way, this is
Cycle
not
Harvester
great.
of Misery, killing the little guy off. Him and his buddy, they got a lot of work to do here. 2 unknown cards, not lands, and then for Tony.
One of them is Badger Mole Cub, so that is good. Being able to find a land would be great, but with Tony's smirk there, I'm kind of thinking his 79.2 win percentage on day 1 might be a little tarnished here after this
take a bit of a
match.
knock.
But also, that's maybe one of the most impressive stats I've ever seen.
That's insane.
Jeez, that's up there with the GOATs.
Yeah.
That's an incredible year.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic year. One of our Player of the Year contenders. He's sitting in 4th position currently. Superior Spider-Man's going to bring back Harvester of Misery, or enter as Harvester of Misery. Kill off the other little friend. There is a starting town.
Was this
that
turn
turn?
1,
That was
2,
not
or
turn 1, 2,
3,
or
though?
3, no.
Yeah, that's...
This was turn 4. It should have entered tapped.
I think that should have entered tap. Yeah, absolutely. And I
think the judge has seen it.
Yeah, I think they've got it right here. Maybe?
Yep.
Honestly, I've done that every time. You just think it's first, second, or third land. You know, that's what it feels like it should be. But yeah, so easy mistake to make there.
That's okay.
I feel like
they
we've
caught
all done it.
Yeah.
18, 16. 18, 16. Yes.
That's just the extra, like, slap in the face. You've been missing land drops, but you're like, this one, it's only the first 3 turns.
And for 4, Tony goes down to 14. Floodcaller, Badger Mole, Rakshasa's Bargain, Song of Totentan, Stuck Up, another Rakshasa's Bargain. So much to do and nothing to do it with.
Yep. Really, really brutal here. Had to have had a mulligan here, or was just really... feeling the top of the deck, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense. And now the Bookworm being able to discard Arden looks great. If you can find another Superior Spider-Man. Arden, just one of the most unbeatable cards from Final Fantasy, that's for sure.
Moly. Just the fact that it gives demons haste as well. Ugh,
Lifelink. It does it all. So yeah, if you don't just win the game with the Bringer of the Last Gift,
yeah.
that's a
Arden
good
get it done.
condolence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having haste is so important. That's why I'm a little bit, iffy and sketchy with a airbending deck. It's like, okay, well, if you have to combo off on your turn, but you don't have haste, how are you winning?
Badger Mole Cubs giving your lands,
It's
kinda
cute.
counts.
Yeah, it's cute. Like, it's
We're going to see that
don't
as
know.
well. That deck, you know, if you can't win the same turn, you can put 4 of the blue-white Aang in exile and counter a bunch of spells there. So that's the deck I would have played.
Yeah.
But after seeing all the decks, I probably would have wanted to play this spicy Is It Lesson deck we're going to be seeing a
All the
little bit
lessons
later.
deck. So cool.
Oh, yeah. We're huge fans here in the booth of that deck. That's for sure.
Yeah, and as we kick things off here in Constructed, we will be showing off as many of the archetypes as we can, and then head off with the tournament leaders as it gets closer to the top 8. But there's still a way to go before we do that. Urgent Necropsy now from Kenta Harane.
Just a one-of in the sideboard, but a
Yep.
very effective card, being able to take out an artifact like a Soul Guide Lantern. It just takes care of a lot of different things here.
Very versatile removal
Very
spell.
versatile, yep.
Tony, you have had a rough match here, my friend.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And just the 2 starting towns being the only lands you've drawn as well. Like, this is pretty brutal. And I'm noticing the only thing we can cast is Song of Totentons for 1. That's horrific.
Yep.
Or Soul Guide Lantern, exile the 1 meaningful card,
Yep.
sack it to try to hit a land right now.
Land.
Still a pretty bad play, but yeah. You know it's going to be a starting town, right?
Torch the tower, in fact.
So this is 6 damage coming in already.
That is it. Oh boy, rough beats there for Toni Portolan, but Kenta Harane is going to be extremely happy to remain undefeated thus far in the tournament. And cool as a cucumber doing so, Corey.
Yep, really unfazed there. Kind of a non-game there
Yeah.
with Toni not having a fantastic start at all. But that matchup, I could definitely see how it could be brutal. You know, game 1, not that close. And when Soul Guide Lantern is your only piece of interaction, it's not like it works the entire game. It's not Rest in Peace. It's not Leyline of the Void. You get one spot where it's going to protect you from Superior Spider-Man, and then they can rebuild. So, yeah, definitely seems like a brutal one.
It does indeed, and we're going to jump into our next feature match here in round number 4. It's going to be Matt Nass, Proto Champion, up against Chris Botelho. We have Is It Lessons, which we're very excited about,
Yes.
versus Jeskai Control. Chris
And-
Botelho is ride or die on Control, I will tell you. That is how he qualified. He was in the final. I remember this. I think.
Me too.
Were you in the booth for that one?
Yeah, we were
Percy
at the
Fang
same
in the finals?
at the same show. I think
We had different booth pairings, yeah. But
Exactly.
Chris Botelho brings a deck that is pre-boarded for aggressive decks and still loses to Percy Fang in the finals. But you know what? He loves this archetype, and I don't think anyone really does it better than him. So let's see if Jeskai Control in the hands of Chris Botelho can get it done here against Matt Nass.
And Matt Nass is the architect of this particular version of Is It Lessons,
Yeah.
which all 10 players
Hell
from
yeah.
Team TCG ended up playing. I mean, that is very telling. That is
Yes.
very telling. And when I ran into them in our hotel lobby, they were saying Grand kind of sounds like Regavan if you squint closely. I laughed,
What?
thought it was ridiculous, and then started playing with the deck, and I was like,
No.
you know what? It is Regavan.
Grand's going to have a little bit of trouble here against this Rest in Peace, though. Chris Botelho bringing in from the sideboard. So we are joining in game 2. Matt Nass has won game 1. We imagine Grand didn't Grand things and made everything cheaper. You know, maybe a couple ancestral recalls at home being concocted for Matt Nass, but let's see where he goes.
So here's the thing. Like, of course, Rest in Peace is going to be great against the Lessons
Yes.
deck. It's going to shut off Ancestral Recall at home. The Accumulate Wisdom, you know, that is kind of the most busted thing that the deck's doing. But the sidestep that these players have figured out is Monument to Endurance.
Oh, it's so good.
Monument is the card that does not care about the graveyard. It's probably about to be windmill slammed on this turn. And that with Artist talent and Storm Chaser's talent, you don't need the graveyard anymore, even though, of course, it helps.
Yes. Certainly does. But, yeah, like you mentioned, Monument to Endurance is just such a cool card and such a different angle of approach or a different angle of attack for this deck. You can kill your opponent on their upkeep, basically, if you get enough of them down.
Yeah. I'm wondering, so I think, I mean, as far as I can see, we have red and white mana, right? There's no blue mana available. So I think Matt didn't play the Monument there to play around like No More Lies or something, but I don't think it's castable. So I think I would have jammed Monument.
We got Sun below Verge.
Right, the two verges. It's just
Yeah.
red and white if you don't have the. Okay,
Mountain.
I wouldn't say he realized it now, but now he's like, okay.
Draw, discard.
Always check what basics are out, friends.
I'll discard this. And
Because
I'll
it's
draw
River
next
Pyre,
one.
so that makes red, and then Sun below makes white.
17.
Yes,
Yeah, so red
exactly.
and white says Boris lands currently.
I'll play a land and I'll pass.
So most of the time, as far as my limited experience where I played 5 matches with this deck, won 5 of them very easily, by the way. But you just always just pick that draw a card moment right away. Just keep stocking up your hand. And whenever you're doing the mode of take 3, your opponent is dead.
Yep. Oh.
That's you.
Okay, Spell Pierce. Keeping Gran alive. You better respect your elders there, Chris Botelho.
Discard.
Did these scallywags trying to take me out? I'm going to take you down, Mr. Botelho.
16.
16.
Is that how Grand sounds?
In my mind, yes.
Okay.
Not what she
sure,
sounds
sure,
like in the
sure.
show at all.
Sure.
Ooh, nice. Artist talent now, too. This is Gran backup, right?
Yes.
Oh, gross.
Draw.
Draw,
and I'll
yeah.
choose.
You know Matt is just having a
more. Oh, the more he can do in a turn, the happier he is.
So I feel like Matt won his Pro Tour, won with Domain. Of course, we saw his expression at the end after he won. He was, so excited.
Exhausted.
But I feel like that wasn't him. That wasn't Matt. That's not the kind of deck that he normally likes.
No.
This, on the
This
other
is,
hand,
yeah.
this is the type of deck that is exactly a Matt Nass deck.
play
Fidgeting with artifacts. And
Game actions.
game actions, yeah.
Yeah.
Magniquella, and
You know his
I'll
middle name is
play
Game
this
Actions,
one,
right?
I believe it is.
Mm.
He played and popularized a deck that everyone loved called KCI.
Uh-huh, yes.
anyone
Tell
who
me how much
remembers that.
everyone loved it.
People loved it.
don't have one more
Matt
on
Nass especially loved it.
Oh, yes. Too much, though, because it kind of... How many top 8s did he make with it?
I don't know, but it was a lot.
Ridiculous amount.
He was
I will
dominating the
fire
Grand
magic for
Prix circuit.
Chris is doing his best to keep this board at bay.
I think he has Spider Sense here to return Grand.
Do it.
Pick up Grand.
Yeah! Go get Granny. Don't leave her at the
Spider
shops too long there, Matt.
Discard land. Draw.
And then he gets to do monument things again. Ah, I love this deck. It's so fun.
I'm at 13.
13, excuse me. Yeah, I'll just take you to 10 then.
Am I ready?
Probably just kill you next turn.
And probably just kill you next turn.
Yeah, get bolted.
Wow. I mean, we only saw the one game here.
Yeah.
But,
No
you know,
counter deck.
this deck does seem extremely well positioned against control decks. But I
Hell
talked
yeah.
to Matt, I talked to Sam Pardee before, and they're like, I want to avoid these 6
Yeah.
Reanimator decks. So, that's a storyline that's going to be building, across this
Level
tournament.
artist Talent.
Oh my goodness.
You're at, I have to cast 3 spells.
And here, let's show 3 spells, shall
Yes,
we?
I'll cast these 3 spells.
Yeah.
Cast them each for 1 mana, and I can make a
Pew, pew, pew.
You got me.
Yeah, that is it. So if you don't have your graveyard artist talent on, the level 2 will give you things for 1 mana less. So that is just an impressive way to dispatch of your opponent there. If all of Matt's games go like that,
Yeah.
he's going to be in the top 8. Easy peasy.
I mean, when you start with when you start with Grand on turn number 1, that's kind of how these games can get out of control. So, yeah, Grand and company looks quite good.
Ragagran?
We'll go with that.
Granavan?
I'll leave you to those nicknames. Yeah.
I'm not good at naming things, but I am going to tell you what the next feature match is. So we're going to jump into Sarap versus Yuuki Ichikawa. They are sitting here at 1-1 as we join them. Golgari Ouroboros versus Is It Looting? So let's see who takes this one down. So Golgari Ouroboros. Why this over the Simic one?
Yeah, we'll definitely find out. The Golgari is not necessarily a version of this that we see. Everybody that has been playing on the arena ladder has played against Simic plenty of times, but this deck does get to utilize Lively Dirge, Overlord of the Belmerk, Deep Cavern backed, and there's also one the Face Stealer in there.
Ooh.
If you can ever the Face Steal on Ouroboros,
Yeah?
it's going to be 6 power, so it's going to put 6 power on everything. I
gross.
don't know how often that happens, but it is truly incredible.
Maybe we'll get it as a treat today.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And I mean, there is 4 Nature's Rhythm in this list for Sarap as well, so
Wow,
you can
full 4.
find these one of. Yeah, 4 seems like a lot to me.
Yeah.
Looking at this deck, my first initial reaction is, okay, cool, this is a different take on it. But my initial reaction is the deck is a little clunky. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if you can tutor out the card you're missing in your game-winning combo, then sure.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of, has to be one-offs. I mean, damage control crew he's playing in this, and we see an Auroboroid attempt to be cast, and Yuuki Ichikawa says, get out. And that's what it does. So just attacking here now with this Mana Dork Spider Manifestation.
A card that we also do not see very often, but
Yep.
hey, there's a lot of 4-drops that can untap it. If you have Badger Mole Cub in play, you're adding 2 mana each time you can untap it. It kind of
gross.
turbocharges your creatures out a bit, and that makes sense. Maybe, Karal and company thought the same. Hey, our deck is a little clunky. We need some cards like this that can crank out multiple spells at once.
Yuuki Ichikawa gets Storm Chaser's Talent down on the board. A little Otter to come with it. 4 mana now. We're going to Overlord and untap it. So paying full cost for it. So it is a big creature on the board. What do we want to bring back? It's going to be our plant worm friend.
And you do get to untap this off the impending, off the Spider Manifestation.
Yeah.
It's kind of the classic up the beanstalk style of
True,
interaction.
yeah. It's pretty sweet. Discounts don't matter when it comes to check the mana value of the spell itself. So
And Yuki's deck, there's going to be 3 different Izzet decks that we're going to be seeing, all day.
Yeah.
They're all very different. I would say this is the closest to what the Izzet decks look like with Vivi still hanging
Yeah.
around, of course, without the combo and stuff like that.
For sure.
But it plays Duelist of the Mind, Fear Missing Out, Quantum Riddler, even some Tiger Seals as your threats. It is trying to, kind of have Duelist of the Mind be the Prof's eidetic memory. FOMO kind of do exactly what it did in the previous Izzet configurations. And then you play Boomerang Basics and Storm Chaser's Talent to get that value going. But much different than the other 2 versions of Izzet that we'll be seeing.
yeah. So we've got the looting, we've got lessons, we've got the prowess one as well. So plenty of Izzet archetypes here this weekend. Sarap trying to deal with this looting version here right now. Can't keep anything to stick on the board here, so Yuki's doing a great job of clearing the battlefield.
And just like the previous versions of Izzet, the warping the Quantum Riddler when you only have 1 card in hand, still very good.
Oh, yes. We like extra cards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Ouroboros here is really nice, getting that to stick. Not the easiest card for Yuki's deck to deal with, besides bouncing, and there is a decent amount of that. But and now we can level up now and into the Flood Mob back. So a solid play, takes up the whole turn. But if Karl's whole turn is just replaying Ouroboros, then it's still a nice little time walk.
Yeah, I mean, Yuki's deck is pretty much doing what it wants to. Get that little chip damage in there while he can, while keeping the board clear, and for keeping his opponent on the back foot here. So let's see where Karl wants to go with this turn.
And Karl Sarap, of course, no stranger to success at the World Championship level. Made it to the top 4 the year Nathan Stoyer won, not too many years ago.
It feels like many years ago.
It does, right?
That was, jeez, yeah. That was your first event, wasn't it?
That was our first event together, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Tough to forget that one, I guess, from my perspective. I guess not yours, but...
Sorry. I don't remember anything.
Fair
Here comes
enough.
Overlord of the Belmerk once again. Let's see what is chucked in the yard. We value that Deep Cavern Bat, says Karl Sarap. He wants to take a look in Yuki's hand and slow him down a little bit if he can.
Yeah, Deep Cavern Bat, a card that is not really played as much as we kind of thought. The one big storyline, I think, when we were looking over deck list as a team here is, where's Kaido?
Yeah.
Where is Demir?
Where's Demir midrange?
Demir just really got no toys in the last, couple sets, so it ended up being just not that strong of a choice anymore, even though after the bans, after Avatar came out, everyone kind of thought it's Kaido's world now.
Yeah,
And
a
it
lot of
just
people
has
thought that.
not played out that way at all.
But like you mentioned, the testing teams, they're ahead of the curve. So
Yeah.
they found Izzet lessons and went, holy crap, this deck is busted.
Yeah, we will definitely see how it does. But on paper, it seems awesome. And if you just watched what Matt Nass just did, you got to think, hey, this is a pretty incredible deck.
Badgermole Cub getting returned from the graveyard there off of the attack.
Okay.
Shoot the Sheriff takes care of the Quantum Riddler. So no concern there for Overlord of the Belmerk's safety. I don't think it has to worry about safety at all with that lovely face, but you know.
Very lovely.
Badgermole Cub, yay, gets to sit.
But
Badgermole Cub, you know, definitely looked at as the best. Wow, just 4 lands in hand from Yuuki. That is not great.
Good grief.
But Badgermole Cub definitely looked at largely as the best card in Avatar. But wow.
By a long shot, yeah, that was rough. So many lands in hand there for Yuuki Ichikawa, just flooded. You know, he was doing an excellent job of keeping Karal at bay, but then lands just, they were too eager to get to the top of the library there.
Had to be doing more looting, I guess, with this Is It Looting deck. But hey, you know, I mean, that's why we play the game. Sometimes you just don't draw exactly what you want. A little unfortunate there for Yuuki for sure, even though he drew a ton of cards and it looked like he was in a winning position there early on.
Yeah, it did. But kudos to Sarap. He picks up another win here, and we'll look to continue that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be with Maria and company at the news desk.